Maheen, so this is one of our floors here at Blazington Place.
Beautiful place, by the way.
So we'll continue the tour around the corner.
Hey guys.
Hey Jim, how you doing?
I'm good, how are you? Nice to meet you, Jonathon.
Hi,
Jim, this is Maheen from CanadianSME.
Maheen, hi, Jim Lord. Nice to meet you too. Welcome to ADP.
Thank you so much for inviting us here to do such a beautiful tour of your office. We're very excited. Jonathon was telling me a lot about the place, about how you're supporting SMBs. So, we just love to hear a bit more about what you do here.
Yeah, sure, absolutely. I've had a huge soft spot for small businesses. Actually grew up in the United States running one of our larger small business divisions. In fact, I remember we had a leadership team at one point who went out and purchased these like card carousels with greeting cards, and they posted them at the ends of the aisles for all of our service reps to just remember that it's okay to be empathetic, because they really are entrepreneurs and small business owners, right? And so, and it served as a nice visual representation, a reminder. When people came to work, they remembered that it's okay to look for those moments. So when you're on a call and being a little empathetic when you hear somebody celebrating an anniversary, or perhaps unfortunately experiencing a difficult time, and for an associate to be empowered to use time off the phones to reach out to our customers in that way was a real powerful way of creating a nice culture around the small business community that we're serving. And they're amplifying that even more in Canada. So I'm really proud of what the team has done to bring that small business feel to ADP Canada.
That is so insightful. Thank you so much, Jim, for walking us through what ADP does and how you're supporting SMBs in the first place. And it's moments like these that we capture, and it's partnerships like these that we have with ADP that really reminds us how important SMBs are to the economy. So thank you once again for giving us just a few minutes of your time to walk us through. Thank you.
Great meeting you. All right, I'm going to run to my next.
Hi everyone, this is Maheen and welcome to the CanadianSME Small Business Podcast. Today we're focusing on the heartbeat of the Canadian economy. In 2026, small businesses are not just participants in our market, they are the primary drivers of innovation and employment across the country. Joining us is Jonathon Meany, the Head of Service Small Business at ADP Canada, a dynamic leader and advocate. Jonathon is a big picture strategist who believes in doing everything with passion. With vast experience in B2B and modernizing HCM technologies, he leads the team specifically designed to handle the everyday realities of Canadian business owners. Today, we're here, I should say, and to learn a bit more about blending smart technology with real human expertise that keeps our small business community thriving. So without further ado, let's welcome our guest, Jonathon. Jonathon, it's a pleasure having you on the show today. Thank you so much for inviting us to this beautiful office. Welcome to the podcast. How are you?
Doing great. First off, Maheen, it's an absolute pleasure. Thank you for having me on the CanadianSME podcast. And thank you for coming here. We're live from our ADP offices in Toronto.
Jonathon, your professional motto is do it with passion or not at all. And it's a drive that clearly defined your path to leading at ADP. Let's start with the first question. What key experiences really shaped your journey to leading in the small business sector at ADP?
Thank you, Maheen. For me, to answer this question, I think it's very personal. So I was born and raised in Jamaica, and growing up, I spent a lot of time with my grandma, who actually ran a car rental business. And, my grandfather passed at a very young age, so it was her actually running this. And when I mean spending a lot of time, I actually mean that. So after work, after school, on the weekends, holiday breaks, summer breaks, etc., you get the picture. But growing up and helping her in this business, I really saw firsthand what it meant to actually run a business. The long days, uncertainty, what tomorrow brings. You think about the relationships that matter from the financial side, meeting payroll. And I always remember a story of hers I'll share later on. But not only that, my mom actually had a beauty salon as well, hair and nails. And I saw a different side of running a small business there. I saw more community. Folks came there, they wanted people to know who they were. They knew their names, they remember their favorite nail color, their favorite hairstyle. And I think that matters. Today, my brother actually runs a logistics company here in the GTA with almost 13 employees. So what led me to small business? Yes, one is personal, but I didn't learn this from a textbook. I grew up with it. On the professional side, I joined ADP over 10 years ago, actually, almost 11 years. And I started on the front line and started speaking with clients directly on the phone. and learned firsthand what it took to actually run the business, what it took to actually run payroll, the HR needs, etc., etc. But why I mention that is what stands true for small businesses is really they feel the win and they feel every challenge at the same time. So I've also led here large service teams that support 1,000+ employees, but something brought me back to the small business space, and that's really the impact that they have. So today I lead a team that supports 40,000+ small businesses across Canada, something I enjoy very much, very passionate about it, and that's why I show up here at ADP every single day.
Really, Jonathon, your passion for empowering high-performing teams is clearly the foundation for the winning culture that you've really built within ADP's service division. Now let's explore the growing impact of small businesses on the economy. Tell us, Jonathon, why SMEs matter. And to kind of dive in deeper into this question, tell us, what does small business big impact mean, and why are these businesses so vital to Canada?
Love that question. So small business big impact, that's a mantra we have here for a small business team. When you think about small businesses, they usually think small scale, but that's not the right lens to have. If you think about what I just shared with you with my grandmother running her car rental business company, and you think about my mom's beauty salon and my brother today that's creating employment for folks in the GTA, that's just my story. These are individual stories. When you take that and compound it and multiply it by thousands and thousands of stories across Canada, that's where the real power is. That's where the real big impact comes from.
So, Jonathon, this is a very important point that you had mentioned, that every local business, it represents a dream, it represents a community, and making it resilient top priority for our national economic health. Next up, let's look at designing services around real business challenges. Please, Jonathon, tell us, how does ADP support small businesses with reliable payroll and HR services daily?
Great question. Very fitting that we're here as well at ADP. So the team, we show up each and every day to try and make it a little bit easier for small businesses to succeed. When people hear small business, they usually think small scale, but it's not the right lens to have. If you think about the story with my grandmother who had her car rental company, my mom with the beauty salon business, and my brother that's creating employment here today, you take those stories, these are only my stories, these are my family stories, you multiply that by tens of thousands of stories across Canada, that's the power. That's when the real big impact shows up. So small business big impact talks about small businesses powering the Canadian economy. They're creating the fabric of really communities that we all live and work in. You think about Queen West, they define that neighborhood, and these stories and these communities are being shaped and driven from small businesses right across Canada.
Something that deeply resonated with what you just mentioned, Jonathon, was that every local business, it represents a dream, it represents a community, making their resilience a top priority for our national economic health. Next up, let's look at designing services around real business challenges. But tell us, Jonathon, how does ADP support small businesses with reliable payroll and HR services daily?
That's a great question. I think it's very fitting as well that we're here at the ADP offices. And one thing I love about what we do here is that we get to enjoy the moments that matter to small businesses, some of those memorable moments. What I mean by that, think about it. The first employee you're hiring, expanding from 1 employee to 5 employees to 50+ employees, maybe even expanding to another province, doing your first year end with us. So seeing those is actually what drives us, because we want to see small businesses win. So no two small businesses are unique. Small businesses come to us ADP with different needs. So some look to us to have a technology and a self-serve model where they want to do it. Others want us to be a little bit more hands-on. So hands-on meaning what exactly? Really what I'm talking about here is they want us to become an extension of their payroll team. So we help them with end-to-end payroll processing. We help them with perhaps year-end balancing, getting your tax forms, the T4s out, Releve 1s out the door for the employees. And we support pre and post audits, etc. So really small businesses are unique, but they're also unique in the way that they work for us at ADP, or they're unique in the way that we work with them at ADP. And really, we're here to see them succeed. And our model, what we offer, is changing every single day.
Now that gives me a very good outlook on what we can do with redesigning services for SMBs. Jonathon, so thank you so much for your insights there. Now, Jonathon, let's explore managing compliance with confidence, because this is a topic that is, the feedback that we get from SMBs is that we want to learn a bit more about it. So tell us, how does ADP help small businesses stay compliant and reduce operational risk?
Yeah, this is a great one. One thing I hear about visiting small businesses, speaking to them every day, is that they didn't start their company, their business, to become a payroll or a legislative expert, a regulatory expert. And I see that as simple as, hey, we're trying to create a new earnings code. Do you think about the ever-changing workplace dynamics, ever-changing compliance rules, legislative updates happening? It's tough for small business owners. And not to mention AI compliance coming in, that's changing everything all at once. So we try to help ease that burden. How do we ease that burden? By removing some of the complexity and reducing that compliance risk. I'll give you a couple examples. So one of the examples is a managed payroll offering that I mentioned earlier. With the managed payroll offering, ADP steps in, becomes an extension of your payroll team, and we really try and reduce the compliance risk that you have. We help you with running the payroll. We'll help you to ensure your T4s are right at the end of the year for your employees to file their taxes. In our managed space as well, we also monitor and track all legislative updates that are ever changing across multiple provinces and across Canada, both the provincial and federal government. So as simple as getting an email, we're keeping track of these for you. We send our clients email to say, hey, guess what? Bonus taxation is changing. This is what it's changing too. And usually one or two things happen. So the first could be, okay, it's going to impact all their clients. ADP goes ahead and makes that calculation change for you. The other could be maybe like a stat holiday changing, or even a Canadian dental care plan that recently came into force a couple years back. So something like that, we may need to speak with our clients and identify, hey, do you offer a dental plan? Do you not offer a dental plan? And we ensure that the right mark is made on the tax form so that your employees can, when they go and apply for the Canadian dental care plan, they won't have any issues.
Perfect, Jonathon. It tells us that taking the burden of compliance off the owner's plate, it really allows them to lead with confidence rather than the fear of clerical error. Finally, let's look at modernizing human capital management for growth. Jonathon, how is modern HR and payroll technology helping small businesses compete and grow?
Yeah, so listen, technology is ever changing. The landscape changes every day, it feels like. Technology is going to level the playing field for small businesses, which one is a good thing. So how does it help small businesses, I think is what you're asking, Maheen. For me personally, I think it shifts. The mindset is shifting to what technology is going to, the best way to put it is the opportunity that it creates. That opportunity is time. So the small businesses that will win, I believe, won't be the ones with the most AI tools. Like, that's not going to be the case. It's going to be the ones that use those AI tools for them to focus on that human touch. So how is technology going to change things in the payroll and HR landscape? Well, yes, one, we're trying to automate payroll fully, but that's only part of it, as I mentioned. The next step comes back by automating payroll. What are small business owners going to do with the time that they have? Right? So the time that they have should be spent focused on doing what matters most to them, growing their company, doing what they love. So that's what technology unlocks. It allows them to compete against the big box retailers. It allows them to compete against each other. And remember that the differentiator will be that human touch. I'll give you a real life example. 2 coffee shops that are 2 blocks apart. Yes, both can be using the same AI tools, no problem. That's going to be the future. What's going to differentiate your coffee shop from another that's 2 blocks away? It's going to be you. It's going to be your people, your team, right? Your creativity, your relationships, and really your judgment and the culture that you're able to bring to your coffee shop.
I love how detailed you were with the responses and the examples there as well. And this is This tells us that modernizing these core systems ensures that small businesses can offer the same professional experience as large corporations while keeping their local heart. What is the one key piece of advice for owners that are very overwhelmed by the back office operations?
I'd say to them, stop trying to do it yourself. Right? I've met some incredible entrepreneurs that do everything themselves because they believe that, hey, no one cares as much as I do. But I'm here to say that if you stop wearing many hats that we know small businesses owners wear, and they maybe move from stop doing and enabling it more, they'll realize that they have more time on their hands. For example, ADP, 75 plus years in payroll and HR. Why try to replicate that? Why try to replicate that? So find trusted partners, trusted vendors that you have shared values with, that you can rely on, and allow them to take the burden off your plate. By taking the burden off your plate, you don't have to worry about that. You get times back in your hand. And as I said earlier, focus on doing what you love, focus on driving your business, focus on time back for your families.
That is such a great reminder, Jonathon, that you don't have to carry the weight of every operational task alone. There's great partners like ADP that are helping businesses be efficient with their operations. Again, thank you so much for your time and for sharing such great expertise with our listeners today. Thank you.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate the platform. So Maheen, let's continue the office tour. I want to introduce you to someone on my team. Her name is Sarah. She should be waiting. Go ahead. Hey Sarah, guess who I'm looking for? Sarah, this is Maheen. Maheen, this is Sarah.
Nice to meet you as well.
So Sarah, I want to ask you something. By the way, Maheen, since day one of Sarah's journey at ADP, she's been in the small business space supporting us.
That's good to know.
Yeah. So I have a question for you, Sarah. What makes this small business team at ADP different?
Why don't I show you instead of telling you? So follow me. So here what we have is artwork that was done from a small business artist to really represent our small business team and what makes us different. So you can see here we have a baker, a dog walker, a car mechanic, and this is really what makes us different. It's because we know that behind every business is a person, right? And behind every person has a story. So it really is what keeps us connected to our small business clients. Like I mentioned, it really is the true center of how we deal with every interaction and what matters to us.
So this is a reminder for all our teams while we show up here each day. Alex is at the heart of what we do. Small business is at the heart of what we do here at ADP.
That was a great rundown. Thank you so much, Sarah, and Jonathon for giving me such an amazing tour of the office and for showing us these things that tells us and reminds us that really small business, big impact goes quite big here at ADP. So thank you again.
You got it. Thank you, Maheen.
Of course.
Thank you.